love with racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights and content. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
This is Punters Inside Run, and we are racing in Sydney. Mick Sharkie has joined me, and making his television debut here is Nick Hluchaniuk, or Nick H as we like to call him. Mate, welcome.
Great to be here ahead of what is a very good card at Rosehill.
It is a big day, isn't it?
It is.
$10 million Golden Eagle, and all of a sudden there's 20 runners. You don't see that very often, do you?
A late little decision there. I guess if you're racing New South Wales, you're saying, I'm putting on a $10 million race. We'll do what we want to have the best field.
Yeah.
No one's going to argue with PBL because they're going beautifully. There's lots of...
Beg tried.
And look where I've got him.
Yeah.
Light Infantryman is, or Light Infantry, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself there and trying to sort of get him over the line, but world-class form.
Absolutely world-class form. His last two runs at Deville, like, number one, he's run into probably one of the best mares in Europe in Spiral. But before that, there's about 2 or 3 horses that have come out and since run really well at Group 1 level against all comers. So there's a super form reference. And really, I think from the draw now, he is the absolute top pick in this race. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah. I guess it's on paper he looks that way, but first time at Rosehill, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's those question marks, but I absolutely agree. The form around him there in those Group 1s are really good. I think there was a little bit of a question mark 2 back because it was a bunch finish for the placings. But to come out and do it again, as you mentioned, the horses around have performed really well. And we saw last year we had a couple of runners, Maximal, Laws of Indices, come straight to the Golden Eagle first up, performed really well from wide draws. So I think he's the class here.
All right, well, let's have your top 3 selections then for the $10 million, I keep saying it, the $10 million Golden Eagle.
Yes, so no surprise with Light Infantry on top. I think Mr Mozart is crying out for 1,500. Wide draw, so just needs a little bit of luck early, but a chance at odds. And Gypsy Goddess, this is their one target for the spring, so throwing her in for 3rd. All
right, Shark, where did you land? I have a feeling you've got Light Infantry on top.
It's all about Light Infantry here for me.
That's what they said in one of the wars, but I won't mention which one.
Might have been the Holy Grail.
Yeah. I think we got away with it.
Yeah. He's the win bet for me in this race. I think the best 2 for place getters are probably I Wish I Win. I think he's really well placed. And also Fangirl getting back onto what looks to be an improving track. Fingers crossed we get good ground there on Saturday.
Where do you see Chain of Lightning? I mean, this is a horse that has only really been beaten once, and that was on a heavy track. How do you rate Chain of Lightning?
Yeah, look,
Jamie Carr's gone across to ride, so to me that's a busy signal.
That's a big tick. The Melbourne form, Sydney form has been a debate all the way through the spring. Look, not in my numbers, but got to respect, as you mentioned, to go up there for the ride.
All right, that's the Golden Eagle. Plenty of prize money up for grabs there, but also with the Nature Strip Stakes, the newly named Nature Strip Stakes, looks a bit easier, I guess, than the Golden Eagle, with maybe 5 or 6 main chances. Yeah,
absolutely. It is a good race to step out from the Everest and have some of these horses a fortnight later. I really like Lost and Running. I thought a chance going into that Everest. Obviously disappointing that couldn't line up, and they must be thinking what if, because had beaten Marzu the start prior in the Premier Stakes. Marzu ran really well in the Everest, so would have been tough for Connections, but they get a chance here.
Do we read anything into that? Is the horse 100% fit here?
So that's the only question mark I'd have. As long as it hasn't gone back any, clearly the horse to beat, but has had that little setback.
How do you rate the race?
It's very even. Yep. And again, it's that Everest form tie-in and the lead-ups to the Everest, which is all very strong. I'm taking a bit of a throw at the stumps, Nick. You might tell me if I'm a lunatic or not. I reckon Brutality is flying. I think he's ready to win a race. And stepping the 1,300 metres, I know the company he keeps in this race is probably a bit strong for him. He's just going so well. At $60-odd, I have to have something each way.
Yeah, wouldn't have said lunatic.
But you can, mate.
Slightly deranged.
I did.
I would have preferred 7 furlongs, but going very well, though.
I think he's being polite because he's making his debut for sure. Where did you land then with your top 3 for this race?
Keen on Lost and Running, Marzu in for 2nd, and Private Eye. Bad draw, unfortunately, but absolutely flying.
Gee, I thought Private Eye had it won before Giga Kick came from nowhere. Yourself?
I'm with Brutality ahead of Private Eye, and let's put in Lost and Running there for 3rd.
I've got Lost and Running on top. I've got Marzu for 3rd, but I'm just banking on the fact that Masked Crusader can jump, because if Masked Crusader can jump, it's a very competitive horse, especially if there's some speed on up front. All right, that is that race there, the Nature Strip. But what about your best bets for a big day at Rosehill?
Yes, so I mentioned Lost and Running, who is my best bet, but just a couple others I want to touch on. A horse in race 9 called Kobe, just coming out of a BM64, but a horse really on the up. Only had the 5 starts, and look, had 60 kilos, the wide barrier last start, and won really well, 1.5 lengths, has a nice turn of foot, so I think he's above average and finds a very winnable race in the city.
Yep.
And just a value play, race 5, a horse called Delexo, flies fresh, 2 wins from 3 starts fresh, and should be 3 from 3, unlucky last time out.
Beautifully done, mate. It's not that hard, is it?
Not at all.
No.
No.
Especially when he's throwing up lunatic ideas like brutality.
As long as we get the winners.
That's the sort of attitude we want from Nick H, who joined us for Racing in Sydney. Next, all the winners with the big call.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.